Welcome everyone to the return of the weekly news review for the Star Citizen universe. I'm DarkHour717, and we are back after a short hiatus during the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and we'll be bringing you the latest news from the verse. If you're new here, I welcome you, and if you enjoy these updates, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, as it really does help get the videos out to more people, and I really appreciate it. And most of all, to those that have subscribed, I say thank you. Before we get into all of the newest info, just a reminder to stick around till the end of the video to see how you can get entered for a chance to win a Drake Cutter starter pack in the month of December. Over the last 2 weeks, a lot has been going on. As everyone knows, the largest yearly event for Star Citizen just came to a close with IAE 2952, and it was a very successful one, just as it was the previous year. A lot of new information as well as new ships came out for the IAE this year, and the festivities really started off with a bang. The event, which was sponsored by Drake Interplanetary, opened up with excitement as a long-awaited Drake ship was released to the verse with the Drake Corsair. This is Drake's first true attempt at an exploration ship, and they absolutely hit it out of the park. But with this, they did not just create an exploration ship, but in true Drake fashion created a versatile and truly multi-role heavy hitter. The Corsair incorporates many features to create a ship that exceeds in more than just its intended role. This was then followed up by the release of the straight-to-flyable Drake Cutter, and we saw glimpses of this vehicle in the IAE promotional video, and it sparked a lot of interest in many citizens. After finally unveiling it, many people immediately fell in love with its almost flying brick design. With more emphasis on armor and being able to take a blow, we found out that this would be the newest in starter ships for the verse. Even has a limited introductory starter pack warbond package available through the 8th of December. Drake definitely did not stop there. The showroom was decorated in a very Drake-style red and black and really looked excellent. Even with the event being held in New Babbage, where these events have been held before, it avoided the feeling of repetition through just the interior design and layout. This really made it look unique as well as new. As IAE carried on, we did find other new information with not many new items coming from other manufacturers, but on Anvil Day it was finally revealed and debuted the Anvil C8R Pisces Rescue, a long-rumored medical variant to one of the most popular snub ships in the verse. Decked with a full medical interior as well as a Tier 3 bed, medical cabinet with full stock of supplies, and room for 3, this new version actually took the highlight off the Cutter as the new straight-to-flyable, and actually in some ways stole the Drake Cutter's thunder. Though we do have the Drake Cutlass Red available with the same level of med bed, the C8R packs it all into a much more nimble and convenient package, making it now possible to take this along with you in other areas and even park it in the back of the new Corsair. The C8R, I believe, will likely become the more widely used Pisces variant, as it features and abilities vastly expand on the ship's uses. After Anvil Day, the next big unveiling we saw was in the latest concept with the RSI Galaxy, a modern upgrade to rival the older RSI Constellation class. This newest concept takes the feature of modularity and applies it to create a highly versatile platform that initially offers the use of a cargo module, refining module, or even a medical module, and is also slated for future additional modules to come. The design of the Galaxy is in line with what we saw with the Perseus, which was previously introduced with a midship or further back placed conning tower and escapes the typical RSI nose-located bridge. The Galaxy is a new addition into the modularity category and is offering a variety of choices that will open many fields of gameplay loops through the use of a single ship. With these new straight-to-flyables and concepts, there are available warbonds, and also, as stated with the Drake Cutter, even a starter package. These should all be available until the 8th of December at a minimum, as we know that will be the date the Drake Cutter starter package goes to its standard pricing. The Corsair currently is $225 warbond and $250 as a standalone. The Cutter starter pack is available currently for $45 as a warbond or $60 as a standalone. The ship by itself is available as $40 for a warbond and $45 as a standalone. The C8R currently has a warbond for $60 and as a standalone ship $65. The RSI Galaxy has multiple different configurations, with the freighter warbond being $415 and as a standalone $450. A hospital version would be $430 as a warbond and $470 as a standalone ship, and the refinery would be a $425 warbond or $460 as a standalone. It also offers a complete set with all the current modules for $530 as a war bond, or as a standalone package $570. You can also get the base Galaxy with no modules for $350 war bond, or $380 US for a standalone ship. After this, we did see the Best in Show display with Ship Showdown top 4 competitors displayed with their Red Alert Best in Show paint. This paint made to celebrate the Anvil Pisces C8X, the Crusader MSR, the RSI Scorpius, and overall Ship Showdown winner, the Anvil Carrack, is a flashy metallic gray and red paint that really is a new favorite for me, as the stark red paint looks extremely sharp on these ships. Though it took a few days to get all the paints distributed to the owners of these vehicles, they should be in everybody's hangar at this time along with the challenge coins. The Carrack owners will also receive a trophy for hangar flare to be usable in the future when hangars do return. With all the new releases and ships introduced, we'll be having ship guides for each of these that you can check out at the links that are in the description or at the end of the video. We did get a look at the development of ship making in Star Citizen in the Star Citizen Not So Live video on the 18th, a pre-recorded sit-down with many of the ship feature teams. I definitely recommend checking this out, as it really goes into the details and process of how CIG designs and develops the ships that we all love in this game. It was pre-recorded, but is unedited and chock full of information. We also saw the week of IAE an introduction of the Drake Cutter with the Star Citizen Live, going into a brief overview of the ship prior to its launch. This was also followed up with a go-through on the raster system used in development. Last week's Inside Star Citizen was all about the RSI Galaxy, and gave us an in-depth look at the newest concept and its modularity. This was followed up with an overview of the Anvil C8R Rescue as well. Links to all these episodes will be in the description. The IAE always brings with it a new free fly event as well, and this ran amazingly smooth this year considering everything going on with the event. Though no referral bonus was available this time, the event itself did end up being highly successful, as it does usually every year. One key feature of this year's event though was the Jax McCleary saga. Spread out over 10 episodes, we found out, contrary to what was shown in the promotional IAE videos, Jax is very much alive. Living out in the Pyro system, we see he has been taken in by a Pyro group led by Bob. On hearing of his own demise, he immediately makes his way to return to Stanton. Through all the episodes, we see Jax making his way through Pyro and doing things that are very true to Jax's nature. Bungling his way across Pyro, he never actually makes it back to Stanton yet. Getting all the way to the Rune Station, we find Jax gets himself in a spot of trouble. That is until Jimmy, who only just discovered that Jax was still alive by seeing a broadcast on an attendee's mobiGlass, Jimmy immediately jumps into action and makes a last-minute save like a true hero to pull Jax out of a firefight in the pirate station next to an RSI Galaxy. Though Jimmy has a temporary Rambo moment, it is Bob that eventually pulls them both out to safety, only to find that the adventure will continue at next year's IAE. I will say the Whitley's Guide this year definitely captured my attention even more than they have in the past. With more episodes, it was a daily item many look forward to. This is a story I cannot wait to see the conclusion of though. We also did receive a roadmap roundup during IAE, and this consisted of the Drake Cutter and C8R being placed on the release view, as well as salvage hull stripping and the Grey Cat multi-tool salvage attachment being placed on the release view as committed for patch 3.18. This of course brings us to the last week's worth of new items, starting with Tuesday, where we saw a new Galactopedia release. In this release, we see a full-length article about Orison, the city in the sky, followed by 20 short articles covering everything from the Min system to the Aegis Gladius Valiant. These hold a lot of information and are released monthly, and always a good read for lore enthusiasts. This was followed up by Inside Star Citizen, Finding the North Star, beginning with a walkthrough with the Tools team, who touch base on their responsibilities as part of the CIG team, talking about the different tools developed and asset validation process to test builds and what a build is and how it is tested, going over how developers interact with the builds and the day-to-day changes, discussing the older tools used for asset validation and the benefits of the new tools being moved to C# and the new capabilities that this offers. This then leads into a look of the rework of the RSI Polaris, a highly awaited corvette in the verse. Here we see the ship's feature team go over the changes happening to the Polaris, with a focus on reworking the interior, with no changes aside from scale to the exterior. This was a focus solely on the inside. They go through the changes and increases in size to the Polaris, talking about changes made from the bridge through and all the way back to the stern. We see black and white mock-ups and see the hangar has been increased to house a Sabre-sized ship, and get a look at the brig, medical section as well, and a look at the engineering section. Also showing off the cargo area and torpedo room, we learn they are looking to find where they can place this to start production. John Crew's own words, it will not be a quick production though. Though many owners know that this is not the first rework of the Polaris, so time will tell if we see this be the last of the changes. The ship does look promising, and I will be definitely excited to see this finally get produced. Of course, we finished off the week with Star Citizen Live, and this week it was the Montreal Protocol. Jared is joined by Max, Annie, Nicholas, and Reynard of the Turbulent Montreal team. In more of an open forum, what we find, Annie uses her one swear per episode quickly, but the program is taken up in discussing their backgrounds as well as other information on the studio itself. They do discuss things like the underground facility work they're doing, as well as working and developing the clinical areas for stations, Lorville 2.0, and derelicts and derelict outposts, as well as even a short discussion on Port Olisar and why everyone wants to destroy it. Definitely an interesting program that allows you to meet and get to know the members of the team from Montreal, and a link's going to be in the description to check it out. And that is about it for this week's update. I hope you found it useful. Leave me a comment and let me know, but don't forget to get your entries in for this month's giveaway, a Drake Cutter Starter Pack. Just subscribe here and leave a comment on any video. You can also get a second entry by heading over to Twitch and following over there. The winner will be picked on January 1st. Also, you can catch the stream here on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or on Twitch Tuesdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as well. If you would like to help support the channel, check out the merch store or even click the join button above for a membership. It all goes back to the community through our giveaways. Thank you for joining me though, and everyone, please be safe out there, and we will catch you in the verse.